no offense to you guys as lawyers, but as a surface warfare officer, I would argue one thing that I know better than any lawyer is jurisdiction, because that's my permission to shoot someone.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
So all the law stuff, I give you guys full faith and credit. I am not a lawyer. I will never pretend to be a lawyer. However, jurisdiction is something that I would argue we line officers know better than some lawyers.
Right. That's fair. I agree with that. I'm not going to argue it. Welcome back, guys, to Cases and Cocktails. This is episode 34, and I'm here again with my beautiful wife, Janice. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic today. Excited about this one?
Yes.
We've got a virtual guest today. And our special guest today, who is appearing virtually, is Commander Dmitry Shvets. Commander, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Did you, I understand that you're traveling a little bit today.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Where are you at? Where are you at now?
I'm in the DC area.
DC.
Just finished a mission and about to head on home.
Fantastic. You are still active duty, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you're in the Navy. Tell me,
Yes,
how long have we been serving in the Navy?
I was, since 2004, I went to the United States Naval Academy, and then I earned my commission in 2008.
Wow.
Commissioned as a surface warfare officer.
Fantastic.
And I've been serving ever since.
That's fantastic.
So surface warfare officers, for those that don't know, it's sea duty, or in a lot of ships. I've been on quite a few ships. My last one being USS Baton, LHD 5, where we just finished our deployment, and now I'm transferred over to the joint staff for a little bit of shore duty. Nice. But even on shore duty, we have to make some trips and things that we need to take care of.
That's fantastic. How long are you out? When you go out on a ship, how long are you out there?
So Baton's, the Bat Arg finished its deployment. It was a 10-month deployment.
Fantastic.
And then she's getting fixed up right now. Then she'll be out. She'll be at it again in the next cycle. So typically deployments are about, for the Navy, it's usually 6 to 9 months. That's what's planned, but the world gets a vote.
Yeah, yeah, it gets a little bit right. That's exactly right. I want to first say thank you again for being here today. We greatly appreciate it. We want to talk about some things with you before we get into a whole bunch of stuff. Here on Cases and Cocktails, we have to have a cocktail, and you're traveling, and so I want to have a cocktail for you. Is that okay?
That's perfectly good.
That's fair. Jay, what cocktail do we have today?
Today, Fernanda made us a pineapple lime spritz. It's 𝒞𝒶𝓈𝓈 pineapple juice, lime juice, and a little bit of sparkling water, which I assume is topo.
Well, 100%. That sounds fantastic. All right. Commander, we're going to try these. I'm going to try it for you. And I promise what I'll do is I'll take 2 drinks. One for me, one for you. Is that fair? That's fair?
Sounds fair. That's what happens with our loved ones when we're deployed, because on ships, we don't have beer days very often.
Fair.
So that's a pretty good tradition we got.
That's fair. That's fair. That is good. Captain or Commander, can I ask you a question?
You may.
If you had an opportunity to have an adult beverage, what would it be?
I'm gonna go with the typical answer is just vodka straight.
Vodka straight, nice. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
No rocks.
No rocks, just vodka neat. Man, that's hardcore.
It is. None of the fancy stuff with it. Just straight to it.
Just straight to it. I love it. I absolutely love
it. Straight to it.
I want to talk a little bit. You currently help service members that that are going through custody cases or going through divorces. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And how did you get started in being involved with that?
That's first a little disclaimer. Everything that I'm gonna say is my own personal experience, does not reflect, the Navy writ large.
Sure.
Just want to throw that disclaimer, but that's exactly how I got into the position that I'm in. Is because back in 2018, when I was deployed out in we'll just say the Japan area of responsibility.
Fair.
My now ex-wife sent me an email, pretty much, saying that terminating the marriage. The marriage was broken. Obviously, I was deployed, so I had to fly back home to find that our marital residence was vacant. She took our 4 children to Virginia, outside of the marital home in Pennsylvania, and that started the whole custody and divorce and legal battle that ensued since 2008 and currently ongoing. One of the things that my situation is very different is I had a very supportive chain of command.
Yeah.
I was a department head on the ship, so there's only a few more people that are senior to me, so I was very senior. And when I went to my next job in Rhode Island, the chain of command there was also very supportive of the what I had to deal with, which is the family falling apart.
Yeah. Can I ask real fast? I mean, what's crazy is we hear that story a lot, right? Someone's deployed or someone has been stationed somewhere, and the spouse, male or female, doesn't matter. The spouse basically says, "Hey, I'm done," and then that's it. When that happens, I mean, one, I'd like to hear personally what happened with you and how you handled it, but kind of also speak maybe generally with most service members. When that happens, you don't just get to like say, hey, boss, I'm going to run home and take care of this right now, right? Like it's a whole thing. Tell me how you handled it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. Depending on what's going on in the mission, there's a lot of times where the chain of command is not supportive.
Right.
That's kind of been my role in the advocacy piece, would say explaining the situations. Obviously, there's legal statutes that the military has to follow as well, because we're not absolved. That there are things that they have to let you go do. Going to court, they have to let you go do unless you get written assigned, the SCRA, the Service Member Civil Relief Act, that pretty much says, hey, we don't care about your court date. Our mission is a lot more important.
Yeah.
The piece that's missing sometimes, though, is what does that do to the service members? What is their state of mind when they're having to deal with all this stuff? But yet their boss says, hey, the mission's more important than what you have going on.
Right.
That's the area that I address, because in my case, I was deployed in the like I said, Japan area of responsibility. So there was a lot of things going on that we had to take care of. So I couldn't fly home immediately. Right. It took a little bit of a trip to get back home to help deal with that stuff. So you have to. It's a balance.
Yeah, and it's not
nothing.
And it's also just real fast, Commander, too. It's also you can't just like say, hey, I'm going to hop on a plane and fly home. There's a whole process. This isn't a thing where you go down and catch a United flight, right, and fly home, right? So
yeah, when nearest land is 2,000 miles away.
Right. Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize that, right? So when you or other service members are out there and you're supposed to be focused on this important mission, and you get an email or a message from back home that says, by the way, when you get home, it's not going to be anything that you thought it was. How do you get out of that headspace? And be able to focus?
That's a great question. The reality is in the services, I could speak for all of them in this. We have programs, the Family Advocacy Program. We have Fleet and Family That's for the Navy and the Marine Corps, but there's also other benefits and things that do try to help. The number one advocate for you is your chain of command. That I can't speak to that any more.
Right.
Your chain of command is your number one advocates because, again, what we're taught in the Navy is shipmate, self. Right? You got to help everyone under you to help so you can help your other shipmates. And if you and your shipmate succeeds, and then the ship succeeds.
Right.
Right? You have to get down to the deck plates and understand how that goes. And it starts from a supportive chain of command.
Yeah.
If you don't have a supportive chain of command, then you reach it. Then that's when you go to the next tier, right? That's why it's called a chain of command.
Right.
You don't support at this level,
right.
You support at the next level and get support at the higher levels. And that's sometimes for the advocacy piece, I've had to deal with or I've had to take care of, some very junior folk. Again, I was a lieutenant when this happened. I almost had 10 years under my belt I've had 10 years under my belt of service when this happened to me. But the brand new, 19, 20-year-old,
right.
That's where I see some of the issue is that they don't report. They think that they're going to get that attribution. They're going to get in trouble. It's like, hey, I'm dealing with stuff, but I don't want to say anything because they won't be supportive. That fear of being supportive is a barrier that I like to destroy, because that's not true.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're not fully there, there's no way that you're going to support the team that you're supporting, and you can take that from any branch of the service.
And with the role that you have now in supporting people that are underneath you that are going through these same types of family law issues, were you involved in that before your divorce happened, or is it something that happened after?
It happened after. I'll be quite frank. I was oblivious to it. I've seen it handled at the Chiefs, at various forms of leadership when I had some of these things come up, and I didn't put two and two together till much later in my career, because unfortunately we have an assumption as a society of, well, if a judge says this thing, well, then it must be true, right? Because we hold law enforcement and judges and military in high esteem as a society writ large. Until you feel it, until you touch it yourself, you realize how screwed up and some things really are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that can be taken about everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's, a lot of times people come to the podcast, they get on the podcast because they're going through it for the very first time, whether they're service members, whether they're civilians, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And they're just like you, they're oblivious. They're oblivious to what, how this works and what goes on. And like you said, there's a lot of sort of these concepts or these ideas that people believe in. We try to work on the educational piece. I assume that's what you're doing on your end, right? With the service members, you're sort of kind of helping educate them and help them understand the processes and the things that are necessary for them to navigate this situation.
Yeah, the education is power. But in my case specifically, when I was in Rhode Island, the lawyer from Virginia sent pretty much a nasty letter to my chain of command saying that I'm not supporting my kids and trying to go the silver bullet tactics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for me, that I was not an 18-year-old. I was not a brand new at this, figuring out like, oh my God, this is bad. I'm going to get in trouble.
Right.
Like what we call captain's mass or UCMJ, non-judicial punishment. Mm-hmm. Right? Everyone sees that as a bad thing, not realizing what it actually is you go before the commanding officer to go through. They have a whole legal side of the chain of command, and they go through like, okay, well, what does the MILPERS Man 1492 say? Right. What is the actual rule and law.
Right.
Because a lot of the young kids, they get scared into agreeing to things, and I don't have to tell you guys are lawyers,
Absolutely.
that if you agree to it, you sign it. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or indifferent. You agree to it.
Yep.
Or if you read
And
it.
that's where a lot of people get screwed.
Yeah,
To
100%.
say it bluntly.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you look at it, it's like, oh, well, by definition, she abandoned the family. She's not entitled to anything.
Right.
There's no court order. There's no anything. It's like your domicile and residence is Pennsylvania. Why is a Virginia lawyer even talking to me?
Right. That's exactly right.
And these are the things that are facts and reality.
Yeah.
That again, if you put yourself a 18-year-old don't know any different, you just got on your own and you get screwed.
You get and what you do is you get signed up for stuff. You get signed up for child support and spousal support and all the other things. And before you know it, it's kind of over, and everyone kind of looks at you and like, "Why'd you do that?" And you're like, "I didn't know anybody.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody."
You just set up in a way
Yeah.
that there's no way for you to be successful,
Exactly.
and that's unfortunate. Tell us a little bit about, so you came home and you said your wife and kids were gone. What happened? Why did they leave? Tell us a little bit about your personal experience that led you to advocate for others in the military.
Yeah. There was no, for me, there was no, warning, if you will. Like, the reason when we were stationed in Japan, my ex-wife was pregnant with our son, and she didn't want to stay in Japan. She wanted to go back to the U.S. to give birth to our son. So had to jump through hoops in order to make that happen, because she claimed she was high risk, which no doctor ever found her high risk. Congratulations, you're pregnant. Every other woman in the world is also pregnant. That's not a high risk
situation
thing.
Yeah.
So the medical community denied flying them back home, saying there's no reason why she can't give birth in Japan, other than sheer will. So I had to ask my chain of command for to go above. Again, everything, once you get no, just means next opportunity. Right? So
I love
went
that.
to the next chain of command, says, hey, look, for my family situation, this makes sense. I was oblivious to what her true intentions were. I had no idea. I had to give up my housing in Japan, because you get issued housing, but laws and rules apply. You only get one house. So if I get her a house in Pennsylvania, I have to give up my house in Japan and live on the ship. So, which is what I did, because that's what we fathers do. We sacrifice for our family.
Yep.
Not realizing that her intent was never to be in that Pennsylvania house, was to always just abandon the family and move to Virginia. So that's something I found out, after the fact, the plotting and all that stuff. I believe one area you guys touch on a lot is the silver bullet, right?
Yes.
The abuse, none of that. There's no domestic violence.
The false
I wouldn't
allegations.
have a top secret security clearance if there was any of that nonsense going on.
Yeah.
The only domestic violence I have is while in Japan. I found out after that they had their version of CPS called on my ex-wife, because she was locking the kids outside and didn't want to deal with them.
Oh, wow.
Outside of the house?
And you didn't find out about that until afterwards? Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
So that could have been one of the reasons why she wanted to leave Japan, other than to have family support. The other thing too is, the definition of family support. Philadelphia is where my parents are, not hers. We already had a episode prior in our marriage where I sent her to her mom, and then the next day she called me and said, "Hey, have your dad come and get us. We're leaving my mom's house." So that's the reason why the things were set up the way they were. That she went to Philadelphia instead of going to Virginia initially. Got the house, in Philadelphia. Then when I came home finally from deployment, because again I had to get there from deployment. and I saw she took half the household, because the Navy weighs your house before they ship it. We have it's called household goods movement. And so when I got to the house, and then they shipped my house from Philadelphia to Rhode Island, that's my next duty station, and it was half the weight. So she took half the household, documented half the household to Virginia. But the custody, when we went into Philadelphia court for the first time, was my first time in court, and she tried to claim, the domestic violence. It was all just the judge. The Philadelphia judge is just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How can he do domestic violence when he's deployed?
It's a good point.
It was.
Hey, at least you had someone. At least you had someone to figure that one out, right? Kind of do the logistics of that, right? Point A, point B, kind of impossible. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no documentation of it. The other thing too is we have Fleet and Family. That's services that are provided in California. We had marriage counseling many years ago. There was no documented abuse going on whatsoever. So a lot of those silver bullet strategies, she found herself unarmed.
Yeah.
If what was her purpose? What was her goal behind making these false allegations? Was she trying to terminate your rights, get all of the marital estate? What was she trying to get?
Ultimately, she was very successful in a lot of that in Virginia.
Yeah.
Because the Pennsylvania court wasn't having it. However, the Virginia court, that experience is not was completely backwards, and was the craziness that I've found. I ended up suing 2 judges.
Really?
Because of obviously they have immunity. We'll see how. My dad actually is currently suing one of the judges in the case. In the case, because they put him on the court order trying to limit his freedom of speech.
Really? That's awesome.
So while my experience has been nothing but positive from Pennsylvania, in Virginia is where a lot of the issues in my case, and the custodial interference, the parental alienation, all of that is currently ongoing.
Yeah.
I have a hearing on the 25th of July for parental interference.
And that's,
even though this is my 16th. Say again?
I was just going to, that's your ex is keeping you from seeing the kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is my 16th one of these. The judge, unfortunately, he and I don't have we don't get along. Honor and courage and commitment don't. That he would know what that is if it hit him upside the head.
Oh man.
The challenge is he's defended her every single time. A simple instance, right? The court order says I get spring break, but it doesn't define when spring break is. It's like, okay, well, spring break by every common sense is Friday when school lets out.
Right.
And she's like, no, it'll be Monday at 9:00. It's like, how do you want me to get the kids Monday at 9:00 where some of us work?
Right. Yeah.
Like, who like daycare starts at 6:30.
Right. 100%.
Like, let's, but like I said, I've been very unsuccessful in, because the judge has been on her side from the beginning. This last iteration, though, even the magistrate, right? Because when you file custodial interference, it's a criminal matter. It goes through a different channel, and the magistrate and we've also not, to do anything under the sun to defend her except this last time. This last time, the magistrate issued the warrant because her, in the court order, it says that her birthday is hers, so that's 12 April, and she didn't give me the kids on the 11 April. So this one I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the defense
what they come up with. Yeah.
What perversion of the order is going to be created.
Yeah.
But sorry, that's a long way to get back to your point. The reason for a lot of this, the parental interference, the parental alienation for my ex, is that she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and what she never She just wants to live off child support, and that's my theory. That's what's the main thing. Because when we were in court in 2019, again, the JDR court, we don't get along very well. I have to go up to the circuit court. I appeal it to the circuit court. And the circuit court judge affirmed that, I would be a, weekend dad, affirmed that. But he used the reasoning that, well, because you're in the military. Because you're in the military, I don't know when you're going to deploy, that you need stability and all these other things. And however, you're stationed in Rhode Island, she's in Virginia. He said, if you come to Virginia, I'll give you 50-50 custody.
Wow.
And as soon as he said that, that's what transpired to my ex going absolutely batshit crazy.
Really?
With false allegations. June 15th, 2020 will be a day that lives in infamy for me, because I showed up on a contempt hearing. I had a lawyer. The lawyer said, just go. Like, I don't know what, this is stupid. This is more just stupid stuff.
Right.
Came in, ex-wife brought her mom, my ex-in-law, and she cried on the stand and claimed to witness the 5-year-old committing a sexual reenactment, and said that she learned that from daddy, and the false allegation came about, and that I have 2 CPS cases against me. I asked the judge, I don't know what you're talking about. Call CPS right now. This is complete fabrication.
That was the
first.
That was
by
the,
myself.
That was it. That was the first you ever. That was the first you ever heard of this. While you're in court. Never once.
Yes.
Never
the
once.
Motion,
never once alleged.
The motion was handed. The motion was handed to me in court. Wasn't even served properly. Her lawyer came up with this. This was their grand plan on how to prevent what the circuit court judge has said, because now we're in front of the JDR judge, because he gets remanded down.
Back down, yeah.
And because of that, that's when I lost. All right, you have to give them to her by 5 p.m. today. The kids to her, because it was my week. It was summer. This was June 15th. This was the end of school. So you have to give them to her, and then we'll establish a guardian ad litem, and they're going to investigate this, and we'll go from there. I said, perfect. Let's do the investigation today. Let's get this. Let's get the ball rolling.
Let's go.
I called. Now, here's the important part for service members specifically, right? I called a FAP case, Family Advocacy Program, on myself, right? Because this allegation could ruin my career, right?
Yeah.
When I have my security clearance investigation and all these other things. And so this is something that some people have a hard time understanding, is you have to follow the process. The process is the process. So I told my chain of command, obviously, right? Say, hey, this nonsense just happened. I have no CPS cases against me. I don't know what's going on with this. I called CPS, got to the CPS manager, and it turns out that my ex-wife took the kids and started all this bullshit to they had a therapist and the emergency room, a surprise emergency room visit where they made these ridiculous allegations.
Wow.
But because I informed my chain of command, I informed FAP. I started a FAP case. My ex-wife refused to participate with the FAP investigation.
Shocking.
Obviously, it's bullshit, and there could be repercussions for there. That held up my promotion for a year, because I have an active, FAP case against me. And obviously, the FAP case was dropped because it's just ridiculous to even think, and it's not even physically possible,
right?
Because if you look at the dates and times, there's a whole
there's a whole logistical issue there.
Some facts that were overlooked.
However, that didn't prevent that. As soon as the guardian ad litem came into the mix, this guy, he didn't want to look at nothing. he is like, nope. It's like, well, what do you want to do? Send mom to jail? It's like, well, that's perjury. So yeah,
100%.
if that's the law, like I didn't do this.
She made an allegation that you sexually abused your child, and it's false. Yes. I don't know what else you're supposed to do with them. Right? I mean, honestly, I mean, let's, and it happens a lot. We deal with it a lot. And the statement that sort of the guardian ad litem just, that you articulated to us is one that is often sort of just out there. Like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. Do something. You can't just make false allegations of sexual abuse. You're not just talking about, hey, you held up his promotion. Hey, you might ruin his career. Hey, you also are trying to ruin his relationship with his children. Maybe
that was the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, you're good. Yeah, it amazes me, Commander. It amazes me that it's so pervasive. And I'm not saying that every allegation is a false allegation. In fact, there are many instances where there are actual allegations of sexual abuse, of domestic violence, and those should be taken just as seriously. But
100% agree.
But when they're false, there should be some repercussion, in my opinion.
The challenge, and this is where the judge and I got into it in court, is, hold on, you want to tell me that I was a lieutenant commander at the time, not a commander, that I am this deviant or this monster, right? But yet I get evaluated every year. We have fitness reports that are done. I had the stupid psychological thing that I had to do, the one you have to pay for. Fun fact, the Navy actually pays for a separate one that they do on us before we get to the rank of commander. It's required to do a personnel, and we have all these things. Like, I have all this documentation for my entire career worth of things, and you're just gonna believe somebody who comes to court in the stand and they make up these ridiculous allegations, and then once proven, like, gone, right, because the guardian ad litem didn't do anything, then I get punished. And forget me, I don't give a shit about me. Right. I'm a grown-ass man. I can handle punishment, like,
whatever it is.
No big deal. Yeah. What are you doing to my children?
Exactly.
You force them to 8 hours in the car on Saturdays, and that's my visitation with my kids. The kids see dad as, oh shit, we're going to be stuck in a car for 8 hours because this is in the middle of COVID.
Right.
In the middle of COVID, I couldn't take them anywhere. And my house, because it's the suspect of this abuse that's going on, is off limits. I can't bring them home. So now I have to spend 8 hours in the car with my children every other Saturday.
It is bananas.
As penance for a crime that I didn't commit.
Yeah.
Then, once we get past that point, the guardian ad litem's goal is to break up myself and my wife. My current wife was my fiance, and at the time. Now, let me be clear. There's no adultery, even though that was also alleged.
Right.
That I was committing adultery. Adultery is a crime under the UCMJ. In the military, you can get relieved for adultery. But my wife that I met in Rhode Island, who doesn't have a passport, like, when would I have? She was accused of, she was your mistress. It's like, that's physically impossible. I was stationed in Japan. My wife doesn't even have a passport.
Right.
How did I commit adultery? And we were separated since coming back to the U.S. And oh, by the way, she's not from Philadelphia. Right. She's after I transferred in PCS to Rhode Island.
Nice.
So all of this to alienate me from my children, to show that dad, then when we get to court, so fast forward, I suffer through this for 6 months, dealing with car visitation, because the guardian ad litem thought that I would give up. What I think his goal was that I'm going to make it so miserable for me that I would give up in pursuing my kids, and I would just agree to everything, pay her the ridiculous amount of money, and just move on with my life. Actually, let me back up a little bit. One piece that's missing in this story. When I was in front of the Virginia judge, he and I didn't get along. That's besides the point. But he said he challenged me that I want to see my kids. He said, "Hey, you want to see your kids? Cool. I'll give you your kids every weekend. But one weekend will be in Philadelphia. One weekend, if you want to see your son, because my son was just born. He was born in March of 2018. So he was not even a year old when we had the hearing. So I'm not going to make the boy travel, your son travel that far to Philadelphia, which is halfway between Rhode Island and Virginia. This Philadelphia.
Right.
That's where my parents are. So I'll give you visitation with him only in Philadelphia, and then visitation with the rest of your visitation with him in Virginia, visitation with the rest of your kids in Philadelphia, and every weekend, one on, one off. It's like, let's see how much you like to see your kids, because it's a 12-hour drive for me to go from Rhode Island to Virginia, and it's a 6-hour drive to go from Rhode Island to Philadelphia.
Hold on, Commander, just real fast. What kind of situation is it like? Oh, you really love your kids. You really want to see your kids. Let's make it as hard as possible and test you and see just how bad you really want to. That is
because that's going to be really beneficial for the children.
Right? 100%. Oh my God.
So fun fact though, for us, you can't do that travel. I'm in the military. We have rules. You have to do a trips report. No problem. My wife was my girlfriend at the time, and she basically committed. It's like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna have to figure out plans and figure out dates and things when we deal with this.
All right.
And so I put in the 6 months that order, from that order in January to our hearing in May, I put 30,000 miles on my car.
Wow.
When I showed up to court, the judge asked me, it's like, so how many times were you able to do this? And I said, well, Your Honor, 2 times. And he stopped me, and went to some tirade.
Right.
On like, you don't want to see your kids. You only saw them 2 times, and just went off.
Right.
I had to, after he was done, I said, okay, so 2 times I didn't see them,
right.
Which one of them I had to deal with security for the president, and the second one was my promotion. Those are the 2 times that I could not change my schedule to accommodate. But 30,000 miles of every weekend.
What was his reaction? What was his reaction after that?
His reaction was custody to the mom. That was his next things. Gave 0.
It didn't matter what you did or didn't do. That was going to be the ruling regardless, it sounds like.
Yeah. Everything was fine. Everything was the first time he was there. He gave her spousal support in Virginia, and alimony in Virginia, divorces in Pennsylvania. This is one of the reasons I sued him, because jurisdiction.
Right.
No offense to you guys as lawyers, but as a surface warfare officer, I would argue one thing that I know better than any lawyer is jurisdiction, because that's my permission to shoot someone.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
So all the law stuff, I give you guys full faith and credit. I am not a lawyer. I will never pretend to be a lawyer. However, jurisdiction is something that I would argue we line officers know better than some lawyers.
Right. That's fair. I agree with that. I'm not going to argue it.
But fast forward to the parental alienation case, because I know you guys touch on that a lot in your other podcast. The end goal of all of that, once proven that none of that happened, I asked the guardian ad litem, I was like, all right, so you gonna send her to jail, give me custody, makeup time, guys, I'm sure you guys know Robert Garza,
of course,
with the bills that he's proposing for the laws to have makeup time.
Yes, sir.
you cost my children, not me. Again, I'm a grown-ass man. I could deal with. But you cost my children, 6 to 9 months of pain over something that's, 3 seconds. All
Yep.
I ask the judge is call CPS right now. That's one of the reasons
Yep.
I sued him. It's like, I want accountability.
Right.
Call CPS right now. It's like, what are you even talking about? And then once he says that he'll give me a rehearing on the false allegation, because again, the motion was never served, all the legal things, now it just disappeared because he says, nope, it's denied. We're not even going to hear it. And it's barred by statute of limitation to raising the issue. That's what the circuit court said. That it's like, wait a minute. I properly filed this. I want justice for June 15th, 2020. I don't care what year it is.
Right.
Like, this happened. Where is the relief for the children?
Mm-hmm.
Where is accountability for when you screw up? In the military, you hear it in the news all the time. We relieve commanding officers like it's our job. Like it's like you screw up, it's very cut and dry.
Yep.
There's no emotion. There's like, this is the law. This is what we do. And that's once I find in family court that the law is questionable, the Constitution is questionable.
Yep.
My dad's piece of it, when we were in the custody hearing, he told the kids the truth. And the judge was appalled that my dad would tell the kids, when they asked my dad the question, hey, why is mommy and daddy not together? And my dad responds with the truth, which is, well, your mom abandoned the family. That's documented. That's the reason I did not have to pay any child support in Rhode Island. Didn't have to pay anything in Pennsylvania, because it's literally per the Milpers Man 1492. If you abandon the family, you don't get any of that. It's in the law. It is. Those are facts. And the judge said, well, it's inappropriate to tell the children. Our background is a little bit plays into this a little bit. I was from the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
You always tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like that is the government lies to everybody in the Soviet Union.
Right.
That is not where we live. That is not why I raised my right hand to defend and support the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Like this is not. And besides, what do you mean inappropriate? What, you think the kids are stupid? You think they're not going to find out?
What do you want me to tell them? A lie?
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the question. Is a lie? It's like, that's one thing that my dad has always imparted to me is never, ever, ever lie, because that's what communists did.
Yep. Commander, I want to thank you. We're going to run out of time here real quick, and I feel like we could do this probably for another 3 or 4 hours. And I've enjoyed this conversation immensely. What amazes me more than anything else is one, that you had to go through some of the exact same things that we hear on a daily basis, that you're still going through it, and that there are, I would assume, thousands of service members, if not tens of thousands of service members, that are dealing with it as well. I appreciate you coming on and talking about it. If a service member is going through this, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you or someone like you so they can get help?
So the best thing to do for all service members is to go through your chain of command. Fleet and Family has a lot of, that's another thing I like to debug. Getting counseling for this is not a career killer.
Okay.
Most people think it's a career killer and they don't want to ask for help. That is the worst thing, because believe me, and I'm pretty sure I could speak for every service, that they would rather get you the help than to see you commit suicide.
Agreed.
Like, I promise you that in this I could speak for all the services, that we would rather help our service members than to see that. Yeah. As far as getting in touch with me, I can easily give you my email address. You can give it to anybody. Again, I get a lot of referrals from what we mentioned before the show, other advocates, Claudia, and the different support groups. I'm in a lot of the support groups. The caveat that I would like to give is I don't support just dads. That's one thing that me and some of the fathers' rights groups don't get along with, is this happens to moms too, just smaller in scale and number. Yeah. This is a issue. This is a systemic issue with where if you don't prosecute perjury, well then there's no you know, it's
There's no reason not to keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So getting into the step one would always be chain of command. I'm a huge proponent of that. Step two is reach out to the different support groups, or like I said, they can reach out to me directly. I do not mind. I'd rather help someone than to hear something horrible happen.
Yeah. Commander, I think on behalf of my beautiful wife, myself, everyone here at the Eggleston Law Firm, everyone that is a part of this podcast as well, we want to thank you not only for your service, which is obvious, and we appreciate that. We mean that sincerely, but we really appreciate and thank you for helping other service members that are going through this.
Like I always say, it's a privilege to serve, and sometimes we have to serve our own when we serve the general public as well.
That's fair. That's fair. Been an absolute pleasure today, Commander. We're going to get out of here today. And if anyone wants to reach out or make contact with you, we will send them your contact information and get them over to you. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure today. Thank you so much. That is episode 34 of Cases and Cocktail, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next Friday.